as well, and I don't think that they're really doing that, which is a problem. We're going to Cursed Hollow, so L5 picks it regardless, despite it being a strong map historically for MVP Miracle.
I think it starts from drafting and also continues into game, of course. L5's way of drafting has been tricky, very tricky and intense, that it's almost like, okay, go ahead and play what you want to do, but we have counters for it every single time, and they make the counters work in their own hands. And Wolf, I have to ask you, who do you think is the weak link of L5 right now?
Weak link?
I don't think there is one right now.
It's a tough question. If I had to really think about it, maybe SDE. Because he has to flex into so many different heroes, including the Zarya he's now shown. So if he ends up playing on a hero which is impossible for us to know or for Miracle to know, that he's not very comfortable on, perhaps he could be picked, perhaps he could be punished. Remember, he was the carry player previously on Mighty, and now he is the kind of flex player, right? Because SC is the carry player, and SC is the more established player, so he has to play flex. I think that even though SDE has been one of the voices of the team and one of their better shot callers oftentimes, I do think that if I had to pick one, if I had to, it would be him. But it's impossible to draft around his hero pool because his hero pool is so large. Yeah. That's a strength and a weakness, right? When you can play everything, it's hard to draft against you. Then you just play Zarya and it's like, aha! Well, now I played Zarya and we still won. But also, if you could find a hero he's not that comfortable on and then target him somehow in the game itself, maybe that's how you do it.
I think that's a really good way of putting... We're talking about the weak link, but it actually brings out all the positive sides about L5. Their flexibility of, let's see if they choose Li Ming. SDE can play Li Ming, SC can also play Li Ming, so there's always a good flex into the team, so I think that's the exact reason why they can flourish so much in this meta right now, especially against all the Korean teams. But as you mentioned, against especially the European teams when they go to BlizzCon later, that will be the biggest challenge for them.
Okay, they did it! They did it!
Finally.
This is what I wanted! This is what I wanted!
But the thing, and talking about the other side, MVP Miracle, here's a big one. If they pick Dehaka, Judy, okay, he's been playing Dehaka when Dami was carrying the game, but because Judy's not solid enough, if Dami has to go on Dehaka, who's going to carry the game? Crazy Moving himself. And when that happens, he is pressured. He overextends a lot, and oftentimes he risks positions. That has been costing so much for MVP Miracle all throughout the Season 2, Phase 2.
This has also been a emotion problem for Crazy Moving, and I think today it's Dami who seems to be the most emotional. So I like the idea of just putting him on a sit up top and get experience hero like the Dehaka. Crazy Moving, we saw the camera shot of him earlier, looked to be in a pretty good mood. There's updated look at Dami. This is Rhaegar and Muradin that come in, so SDE's hero is still left to be unknown, focusing on that in terms of the draft. So, with Rhaegar removed this early, it feels like the safest bet, especially in terms of cap clear time, is the Uther Greymane rotation here. You have the power to dictate team fights using that Greymane. Crazy Moving, even though Dami is more famous for it, Crazy Moving is quite good on. And you have the Dehaka for globals. You don't get support choked. I think it's the safe move, but I know they're considering other options right now.
And Dehaka's solo tank will not be enough, and Judy will also need to get the secondary tank, and his most comfortable one was Muradin, and also taken away by L5. Miracles, as I know you're shaking your head, making the very old standard signature approach with Vala Ariel. I'm not surprised, and L5 did not ban Tassadar. What does that mean? That means they are not scared. That also means they have an answer against that comp. It's an old one. They're actually banning Tassadar themselves.
I don't think they want to use it. They don't want to go for the full Trinity. They want to commit all the way. I think it's more likely this time they'll draft the Tyrael. This time they'll have that for boss control. They want to have that as their secondary support, not the Tassadar shields. Zarya was removed, which I took a page out of the Game 2 composition for L5. I have an odd ban, maybe even L5 teasing a little bit, because it's pretty unlikely that Miracle would draft the Zarya, although they did back in the Gold Club World Championship at the end of 2016. L5 is now looking for their DPSs. What would be a really cool twist to this draft is if they actually took the Greymane Tyrael away, so that Miracle couldn't have the Tyrael. Then they have strong range damage, good wave clear. But they're going to go down the Lunara path again. Very similar to the Game 1 draft.
Even with Leoric, I think they're following the right path. But this time with Ariel, Miracle, if they want to get more battery, they can. Because I remember they had Rhaegar before instead of Ariel, and Ariel was banned out, so that will give a lot more AoE healing. But the problem was ranged. We even saw this pair up a counter to Vala since China, since the end of last year. Chinese teams brought Lunara, and lots of Korean teams were having trouble because the range was just not enough for Vala to do all the damage. Lunara was a soft counter and all the way to hard counter. We still see it for L5 to this day. Can Miracle bring this together with the Vala? I think they need a secondary DPS here.
Remember, Miracle was the team that was so hell-bent on running Ariel Vala when it was just discovered, and it was a terrible win rate for them. They were like 2-10 with it in Season 1. Will be the Tyrael coming out at the end of the day with Lucio, not the Uther, as support here with the Ariel. So extra mobility. It's a more map-based pick because mobility around the map is important. We might even see the speed amplification upgraded at level 1.
And Lucio did get a big buff on his HP dispatch. And I had some comments that pros like to play Lucio a little more. His HP really gave him a lot more room to play around those wall rides, even during team fights. So I think Lucio is coming in a little bit more compared to before on this patch.
So for L5, the last time they ran the solo DPS Lunara, the secondary support was the Tassadar. The main support, which was drafted last, was Uther. But they don't necessarily have to run double support, I think, against the comp of Miracle. They could also try to run something else bursty. Could even be a Chromie pick here. Rare. Kharazim will be the choice. That's an even odder one, but it will give them more mobility to try to dive into the backline against the Vala. Miracle wins in terms of boss control. They have Lucio and Tyrael. They also have Ariel, which is great for boss control. They have the global hero. They have good support for the Vala, who's going to be the carry DPS. I think this is the best draft that Miracle has brought in this series. Will they be able to use it to its fullest function, though, against the slow DPS of Lunara is the big question, guys, as we go into what could be the last game of the night. L5 against MVP Miracle. Let's head to Cursed Hollow to see if we're going to a Game 4. In blue, L5 has Hooligan on Muradin, SC on Lunara, Junga on Leoric, Kharazim on STE on Kharazim, Swoy on Rhaegar.
And in red, MVP Miracle, Sniper on Ariel, Jaehyun on Lucio, Crazy Moving on Vala, Judy on Tyrael, and the last one, Dami on Dehaka.
Notice that only Sniper looks to the right, everyone else looks to the left. What's up with that? I've always noticed that.
Sniper already filling in for the team. Always going for the double support. And Dami, and as we mentioned before the draft even, when Dami goes in playing Dehaka every time, puts a lot more pressure on the Crazy Moving because basically their team comp is hyper carry Vala right now. Can he do as much damage?
So look at what Miracle is, look at the damage they're taking. They're taking almost the entirety of a fort. The bot fort is living longer.
Ooh,
and they're also going to get the kill.
Wow!
Dami, will he survive though? Will it be a 1-for-1? He does get out, so that actually makes this good for them. Now they're also going to get the bot fort. What they lose is the top experience, which is what Leoric is taking from them. This fort may still just go down anyways. Sugan's actually stayed mounted the entire time up there, wasn't really able to do much. He is getting super bullied by this. They will finally get this fort, so a fort for a fort. But the experience from Leoric is the issue. Dahaka finally goes up there to even it out. As we also see the Rhaegar camp timing, it looks like. Actually going up all the way to the top lane. Still about 15 seconds out for the the mercenary camps to spawn. They are looking for the kill, and I think they will get it. Yep. Burrow delays the inevitable. And this works perfectly because now they can rotate to that camp right after they kill this wall. We'll be spawning in just a second.
One super godlike play, following up with the opposite play. Nice rotation by L5, but actually, even with Toy's death from the beginning, they got an early lead with the fort down in mid. They can have better rotations because it really pressures Miracle to go rotate around the fort now because L5 can have more control over the map. So I like this choice, having Leoric down in the mid lane who can push a little more, who will be very weak against the ganks, but compared to having other heroes in the mid lane, having Leoric I think can be the best one.
Just very flexible. Royal Focus, he's got it. He can very quickly rotate between lanes. It almost makes him kind of like a pseudo global. He's got really good wave clear. Used to be much better, but still pretty solid. And with this rework, that will of course change. But yeah, I like this a lot. Just have him kind of following Dahaka as much as possible. SC versus Crazy Moving here. Two former StarCraft 2 players and former teammates battling it out here on these hyper carries. It's going to be a win here for Miracle. Sniper doesn't even have to use his heal just yet. He's going to use it now to maximize the value. It looks like Miracle will actually win this tribute.
Crazy Moving taking a lot of damage. Let's take the tribute, and also this entire time Dahaka has been pushing somewhat. Leoric is there now. So well done by Miracle. And you see the difference now with Ariel coming in. The AoE healing on the Vala. Of course, if 1v1 Vala, then Lara wins. Lara did so much more damage, but the healing came in and really kept Crazy Moving safe from going down. Here's Gank Attempt again.
Okay, a lot of damage coming out.
Joins the fight here.
He's going to try to turn this. Hooligan's coming in too, though. Totally whips the Stormbolt, however. And look at that extra heal coming out from Ariel. If you can time those cooldowns correctly, if you can use it safely, even without the level 7, he wishes he could lock in right now. She's got the question mark there.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's thinking.
This is still a very solid, and this is the best draft that Miracle I think could have had. And a lot of the extra pressure came from the Dahaka in the bot lane that did a lot of pushing and then was able to get almost the gank there. Miracle will get the tribute. Zhongha has stayed bot instead of coming to assist, which puts their opponents on curse point, a scary proposition, but he actually keeps them about 3/4 of a level lead ahead with the split pushing. So the idea here is to hope to get 10 to contest the final tribute. It's going to be a close call, though. For them to get a level and a half before that spawns is a pretty tall order. Especially if they spend a lot of resources getting the camp. They're actually going to boss, though. We don't have a shot of it, but they're going to take the boss. This will give them such a great position, and Miracle just doesn't realize it. Part of the reason why they left Miracle to take the tribute was to get this boss, it appears. Leoric had the bot lane controlled, they had vision advantages, and now Miracle, I think, knows, but there's not much anything they could do about it.
And I believe the first two tributes were top, so this one has to be bot this time, and they are going for the boss because they want to have more pressure onto the bot lane because they've been losing the tribute and they want to hit 10 quickly as quickly as possible. So when the next one comes in and it's their favorable one, position onto L5 side, this one they can stop the curse from happening for Miracle right now.
At least Miracle has the boss at the same side of the map. It's on the bottom side, so they can deal with the boss while delaying. Remember, Leoric actually prepped this wave and it got rid of the cannon tower ammo, so there was no ammo to defend at that wall. So the boss went directly to the fort, forcing a huge reaction here. Killed half the fort. This will give them level 10. Now they can try to double boss. Look at the positioning. Look at the rotations coming up right now. And Rhaegar didn't even get Wolf Run, but he is still going to get up there so quickly. The rotation is much slower for Miracle, and even though they have arguably the better boss control, that comes post 10, which they don't have now. They don't have the Sanctification. They don't have the Aegis. They'll have Lucio's Q, but they're just not even going to contest it. They're going to let it go. They know they can't. And for the similar reasons to the last boss, this top fort is prepped. It's halfway dead. This boss will definitely start to work on the keep wall as we head into going even. And look at the tribute spawn as well. So good for L5.
Now they can contest for the last one.
Bloodlust potential, by the way.
Yeah, he's been holding in that for a while. Maybe Palm can be enough, because the only one they really have to keep alive all the time is Lunara. I think Palm may be enough to actually keep everything alive.
Yeah, and Ancestral doesn't do much on Lunara because she doesn't have a large health pool. And Muradin won't need it because he has his own mini Ancestral, you could argue, with his avatar. Leoric, it's okay if he dies to burst. He will come back very soon. So there are actually arguments to give the attack speed to Lunara with Bloodlust can be incredibly powerful. So, you know what? I'm not even against it in this case because they're so ahead in this game, and they will have very good position to contest this curse. Miracle can get back into this game with one good team fight, though, because they are also on curse point. They do have their level 10s now. Sanctification can ruin a Bloodlust attempt. So that's going to be very important, assuming that Bloodlust does get locked in. It's an extra factor to remember. The curse location is going to be so important. I actually didn't keep track 100% this time. I think it will be to the top right.
2 top, 1 bottom left, and then 1 top left. So I think next one I have no idea where it's gonna be.
Okay, yeah, top right here. So this is the one that's super important, and this is Miracle's window back into the game. If they don't get this one, they are going to be in dire straits for potentially the rest of it.
Look at this positioning though.
Oh, so good.
Entomb ready.
Oh, and there it is.
Sniper, the perfect target. A little early for the Sanctification. It seems like L5 was ready for that too.
They wanted to use the Sank instead of the Aegis for some reason. Both of them were available. Sound Barrier used here, and they don't have to use that heal yet. Sniper is holding on to it. There's the palm onto Leoric. It is going to be Ancestral, as you say. This tribute fight is so important. They baited out so many heroics. They still have the Ancestral. They still have the Avatar.
Nice trade for L5, and they're pushing in a little bit by a little bit, as Lunara will be doing those range damage.
Okay, SC needs to get back, though. He needs to be at the far, far back to make sure this is going to work.
Standing on the side because he has the Avatar available. He knows the threat and potentially what he can do here.
Splintered Spear is doing so much extra damage from SC.
Entomb is coming back in 2 seconds.
Okay, he's going to have
They don't know it yet.
Ancestral. There's the Entomb. It's huge. The Aegis goes in. Well, this is going to be a one fight. Look at SC just sitting there, spitting out the damage. Shot by shot. Auto attack by auto attack. And that is going to be the wipe. That is going to be the tribute, which will be the curse. Dahaka pieced out a long time ago. He's down there just trying to make sure that he can at least delay the kill on the bot fort for more experience deny. But this is already right on the keep wall. Don't forget, soon the boss will be available.
Wow. That Entomb value, the cooldown is low. So I don't think Miracle was entirely ready for that Entomb to come in.
Oh, crazy
look at
moving.
SC. He's diving in like a man there.
Yeah, well, there's no, the keep isn't firing, so you can dive a lot deeper like this when you're up 2 levels. Junga's coming in. Entomb's available. Wants to wait for the perfect moment. There it is. Well, I don't know if that was the most perfect moment, but he tried for it.
Isolation goes into a CSC, but just for a few seconds. He will continue doing damage. Does have really goes low on mana though. That's the only thing. So he has to back off as the dashes away. They can't really catch anyone. They do have speed boost coming out from Lucio, but no damage here.
Miracle will have to clean up this wave. They'll get some experience with this. 2 keeps down now, though. Boss is up. And that's exactly where L5 is heading. Miracle knows this. They will go and look for a last-minute contest. This game ends after this fight.
Maybe.
And you know what? L5 or if, sorry, if Miracle doesn't win the fight, that is. L5 is not even going to take the risk. They know that Miracle is reacting to this. This is an opportunity for Miracle to take a 4v3 fight, though. Down on scaling, though, about to be 2 Talontiers down, and look at the Lunara damage. The Sank is really good here, but once it wears off, this is going to be the killing fields. G-Clepis, look at this. Crazy Moving just desperately trying to stay alive.
Coming in with the walk
Great
into
Ancestral.
moving perfect in this positioning. And there's the Entomb again, Judy, and Jaeon are caught. Dami's trying to soak in some damage, but SDE is the DPS of L5 right now, as he's just punching his way all the way to the back.
Oh man, he's doing so much. He and Soy together. Dami died off screen back there, was being chased by SC. SC wasn't even doing any damage in that last part of the fight. So I guess my statement still rings true, even though it wasn't at the boss. That fight ended the game. 3.5 level lead for L5. They will head top to prep this wave with the boss to end the game. Everyone on Miracle will respawn, but defending this would be crazy. Are you Caleris? I'm not Caleris. I don't think this core gets out alive.
Yeah,
everybody dies in this
already.
movie. This is going to be a disaster. They have Siege Giants, triple catapults in a second here. And even get the Night Camp here.
They're going all the way in with maximum siege potentials. Maybe they're gonna go keep and try to just work around, not going all the way to the core. But if they get kills, they will definitely go for the core. And
The core is the goal.
Tomb again.
Judy has the Eldruin's back. He had a safety Eldruin's there, but now he's in an awkward position. Can't Sanctification for his team. 5 seconds to go on that cooldown. Does get back through here with another Eldruin's. The core is under attack. As Crazy Moving is trying to do his best to do the damage. Look at all the damage coming out from SC, though. Sound Barrier, very well timed. Jungha does have the isolation on him. He wasn't the target that he was looking for, though. The core is going down here. Sniper doing what he can to try to keep everybody alive, but they are just being ignored. Jungha is working on the core.
3 damage on the other side, and that will be game. Ancestral used onto SDE at last moment. Not even needed, and L5 will take game number 3, end of the series.
Here we go. That is the beginning, I feel, of a bad, rough start for the season for MVP Miracle. They're dropping another series, this time 0-3. And passing Blossom even becomes less and less likely, it feels, by the day.
I think